everyone, my name is Lost. Welcome back to my Minecraft world. Today we're going to be working on the interior of our cellar that we built in the last episode. But first, I have something to show you. I went ahead and built the interior of the downstairs and the upstairs of our old botanist's house that we built a couple episodes ago. I'm so glad it's finally done. It's a little bit more aesthetic than it is functional, but upstairs you'll see that I added a bedroom over here and expanded our storage room. So we do have a lot more room now for our bigger building projects when we need like a bulk amount of blocks, and they can just be stored over here. So what will we be doing today? Today I want to take us back over to the cellar that we were working on last time and try to chip away at the interior over there. I've done a little bit of work. I have been trying to figure out a design for this netherwart farm and failing miserably, so we're definitely going to do that today. Also, if we come down these stairs, we just have a really ugly hollowed out hallway where we hit our head, and there's not really a systematic way to get into the storage of our moss farm, so we're going to fix that. And on top of that, we have all of this wasted space underneath our farmhouse. And I figured we could use some of these areas for more farms, because this hallway that for now just kind of goes this way into the hypothetical storage for our netherwart farm. We're gonna take this hallway and loop it around and maybe do some flower farms over here. Also, can I just say that holding a button in your hand, you're not even holding it, it's just floating there? Like that's so weird. The first thing we'll need is a lot of wood and a lot of diorite to expand the tunnel down to the moss farm. And luckily, because I revamped our storage room a little bit, we do in fact have a lot of diorite. We also have a decent amount of dark oak as well, because I did a little bit of tree farming since last time. Not a whole lot, but just enough to have for the odd project. I also think we need some smooth stone for the floors, which I think I put over here, and some andesite. I'm gonna grab some diorite stairs and some more polished diorite. Alright, I'd say first off would be filling out this tunnel. And we can mine out some more stone. I forgot I had a beacon here. I think an access point here would be nice. I really do. If we could funnel the chest into some vertical structure here, I think that would be good. And then where it turns, I do want some dark oak stairs. Okay, I think that looks good. And then that would mean we would need another block. Now we just get to place these in the upper corners. Maybe I miscalculated. I did. I think I placed too many blocks. It's okay. We have plenty of dark oak. Now we have the ceiling part done. We just have to fill in these sides. I should grab this coal while I'm at it, honestly. I do have a lava farm now, but having coal is just super handy. I wish we had sandstone ore in this game, because I plan on building this really big cliff face out of sandstone, and I want to add lots of different like rock layers, so it looks like you can see geological time in the like sheer cliff face. But because ores only occur in deep slate and stone, I don't know how else we could add variation on like a more detailed level than just like a different block that's kind of the same color. Alright, our hallway is actually all complete now, so let me show you what we've got going on. You walk down, as you can see, we've got some pillars, and the path turns this way, all the way down, and into this little system. The next order of business is to clean up the edges of the moss farm and make it look a little bit more presentable so that we can redecorate it with some better blocks. Alright, I finished cleaning up the moss farm and making it presentable. This little entryway is just for some extra storage. If you come through here, you see that we redid the floor, walls, and ceiling so that the farm would just be set in like a prettier room and that I wouldn't have the moss just lying around and being a fire hazard. For the floor, I decided to mix in some stone and stone bricks on like this central pathway, and then the walls, I used the regular deep slate, just flipped on its side, and then I put in some pillars of stripped dark oak and some swooping half slab beams here. I hid some lighting under this pale moss carpet here, and I replaced the obsidian with furnaces. So it doesn't stick out as much, and I put a lot more than I needed, but they kind of blend into the stone brick if you're not really looking at it directly. So right here is our master switch, and if we turn it on, it takes a second, but the moss farm will start working. And these hoppers here weren't originally connected to anything, but now the bone meal ends up flowing in through this hopper chain and down through this little channel and up this water stream, and that water stream connects to that chain of hoppers that I just showed you above. The farm doesn't completely sustain itself, but it does replenish some of the bone meal it loses, and if I just run this farm whenever I'm over here, it'll be putting a lot of drops honestly back into the farm so we can keep producing extra moss. Alright, so I think I finalized a design for our netherwart farm. These barrels here in the front are collecting the netherwart, and if we follow this hallway back here, I have a little area where we can stand above and plant everything. The farm works through these dispensers that shoot out water, which flows down to the middle where there are some hoppers that collect them. But as you can see, the water is so quick to dispense and retract that it doesn't have time to flow, so we need to add in some more hoppers below here. I'm just going to place these on this side, and then below here also. And it is a lot of hoppers, like kind of wasteful. I wish it would work better. I messed around with changing the timings on the dispensers, but there's just not enough room back here with the side of the hill to actually make the redstone work. But now, as you can see, we've greatly increased the netherwart that we are able to pick up. So I would take some and run back here. We can just place our netherwart back, and then just throw the rest down and it will collect. I like how it looks. It sort of almost looks like a lab. Like we've got this like dim fluorescent light up here, which is literally just the gap around the trapdoors, but it kind of looks like a light. And if we light up that room a little bit more, it will really look like a light. Oh, it's a lot brighter. That's cool. I could also imagine some end rods being placed across here, or even like this way. That could look kind of nice. But I'm not sure I have any. I might back at my house. That's just something to think about. My next order of business is to work on some flower farms back here. Not to make them pretty just yet, but to get them built. And then I'll walk you along my process of blending them into the rest of the build. After like 2 hours, our flower farm is finally complete. It was a pain in the butt to build. And I don't have any sort of sorting for it. It just gets put into these 4 barrels, everything from the farm. But I'll show you what we've got going on. I did try to put all my redstone on blackstone. Back here I kind of slacked off a little bit, but most of the redstone is identifiable from being on blackstone. But what I have is a switch for the farm, which allows this hopper clock to start, which powers these 2 lines of pistons, which alternate firing back and forth, which move the dirt. And I've got observers, which are hooked up to this redstone line, which powers this block, which powers this dispenser. And I've got 4 of those. Each of them alternate being over top of a grass block and growing grass and flowers and stuff. And then either bone mealing crimson nylium or warped nylium. I'll show you what it looks like from up here. If crimson or warped nylium is bone mealed, only nether type things grow, even if it's on grass. So I put these 4 little patches down, and that has been working out pretty well. So at the same time as the hopper clock that's moving these pistons is going, we also have another hopper clock back here that when This is literally so hard to explain. But we have these trapdoors here being routinely opened and closed. I think there's 16 blocks in the hopper clock. And obviously when they're open, it lets the water out, and when they're closed, it doesn't. And that is only allowed to work when the farm is on, which is why this master line hooks up to both blocks. Took some trial and error, honestly, but I'm happy with it. Now, is it the most efficient in terms of like the time the water is flowing? It is not, but I was already struggling to get it to this point, and so I think I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty productive in terms of what I need. I really don't need that much stuff, but as you can see, if I just look at the warped roots, this is from like maybe 10 minutes of having the farm on. I already have like 9 stacks or so of each item. This is definitely a farm that I only want to have on when I'm around here. I didn't actually follow a tutorial for this, which I'm very proud of myself for. It's a pretty straightforward farm. Like, you just have to get the hopper clocks to move the pistons, and then some other system to either pick it up with a hopper minecart or to put water out to sweep all of the flowers and stuff into a hopper line. And I know it's off center, it bothers me too, but I configured the hoppers so that it would fill up the barrels pretty much evenly, and as you can see, it's working. I had to like make them swoop this way, like you can see a hopper right there. Whereas on the other side, it's like just normal. I love using a bunch of foliage, and at one point I'm going to be building an enchanted forest, and so those types of things are really important for that kind of build. All of the redstone lines everywhere are stressing me out, but it's okay. It's okay because it's all gone. I just have to patch these walls up and you'll never see it. I thought I hated redstone, but honestly, it's very useful, and it does suck sometimes when you like want something to happen and you can't figure out for the life of you how to do it, or you build something and then the water just like sweeps everything out of the way and messes up what you're doing. Like, that happened to me several times. I feel like it's just perseverance, and it's frustrating, but it's pretty rewarding, I'd say. Like, I would definitely want to build more redstone farms. What I really need next is an iron farm, which is crazy that I have full netherite and everything and I don't even have an iron farm. And I like the raw iron blocks as well. I think they look nice. So I don't want to be going out mining and getting all of those things. I want to be able to mine them and use them to build, and then have an iron farm for the iron that I actually need for like hoppers and anvils and cauldrons, all those things. But yeah, those are the 2 farms that I'm going to be putting in my cellar for now. There's definitely a little bit more room down there, especially at the end of this hallway. But what I might end up doing is maybe putting a little potion brewing room over here and then calling it a day, because like honestly, having this farm here, having this farm here, having this farm here, and we go down here, this farm, like that's 4 farms in like maybe a 9 chunk region. I think it's time to get decorating and making this place cute, which is truly my favorite thing to do in this game. So I'm gonna get on that. Alright, I have finally finished the interior decorating of the cellar, so I'll give you a tour. I didn't change very much about the flower farm. I just made this full back wall all spruce so that it blended into the back of the barrels that connect up to the hoppers, and I added a little access door here. I didn't really tidy this area up, but that's a big project, so I'm gonna leave that how it is. Over here I added some brewing stands and some water access and a cauldron, and I just decorated it with amethyst and some dripstone. I put some potted plants around and tried to make it look grungy and witchy, and I really like how it turned out. It's not the most efficient area, but if I need to brew any potions, I can just come swing by over here, and this barrel definitely needs a lot more ingredients because this is kind of just all I have at the moment. Next, up here, we have our netherwart. Looks like I missed a spot. But up here, I put some rooted dirt and a pair of shears. So whenever I come in here to grab some netherwart, I can also grow some rooted dirt if I want. And that can go in the collection system, or I can just hold on to it. But usually I'll have bone meal on me as well, so I can grow some more. But it kind of just looks like a nondescript ceiling if you're not really looking at it too much. So I thought I could do 2-in-1 over here with farms. And for this main area, all I really did was tidy up all the shulker boxes I had lying around. But for now, I'm really happy with everything this place has become and all the farms I've added. It's detailed, but not super detailed. I'm excited to get brewing in my new brewing room and to use this flower farm more and to get a ton of netherwart. And now I feel like I have 2 things that are very related in one area, which is pretty nice. I am so happy that you made it this far if you did, and I enjoyed working on this build a lot, and I'm so glad to call it done. I'm hoping to start some new projects soon. I don't really know what my next plan is, but I know that I want to be making more things. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.